a mirror.
Well, he certainly is an effeminate twerp. But I mean, to be serious here, I remember right after you had your hip surgery, you came down and visited me in Austin, and that was the biggest you'd ever been, maybe 10 pounds overweight. But, you know, when we were flying around the country, I saw you pull your shirt off a few times. We were changing and stuff. And, I mean, for somebody who's 59, I've never seen anybody with ripped muscles like you, Governor.
Well, I'm not the best-built 59-year-old in the world. I'm not going to claim that. But I train every day. I work out constantly. If you're going to go down and attempt to surf in Mexico, do you think you can do it being big and fat as Glenn Beck would? He called me. I can't believe he could, him, of all people, could call me fat. That right there should kill Glenn Beck's credibility completely.
Well, I didn't mean to get off into him.
Oh, no. I'm laughing about it, Alex. It's good humor. I'm not irate or nothing about that. I consider the source.
Well, you know, Glenn is covering a lot of world government stuff, but then he blames it on low-level communist professors instead of admitting our Pentagon. I have the RAND Corporation documents. I have the Global Trends 2025, A Transformed World. The policy of the mega banks that run the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower warned us about is to have corporate welfare and to steal the wealth of the people to make us more easily controlled. And meanwhile, he's claiming some low-level professor, you know, is the top of the pyramid. And I think people are getting wise to him. That's why his ratings are plunging. And the New York Times talked to him, and he admitted that he's got major friction with Fox, and they may throw him under the bus. I mean, you may not see Glenn Beck in a year.
Well, you know what? He won't care. He's made his money. You know, he's become exceptionally wealthy for what he does because of, and let me throw that out to the people of the United States, because of the minions of lemmings out there that could take someone like Glenn Beck and make him a messiah. I mean, what does he care for, Alex? He's made a ton of money.
Well, I think that's the establishment joke. They got an effeminate, and I was reading the New York Times article, they admitted he's effeminate and said that's good. And they admit he constantly flip-flops, and they said they're proud of that in this New York Times piece. And so the face of the anti-New World Order, unless you talk about Alex Jones, Ron Paul, or Jesse Ventura, is Glenn Beck, who just radiates. It's not even fair to women to call him effeminate. Well, you
know, again, I'm more disappointed in the people of this country than I am him. You know, how can they be led by the nose by somebody who's as unqualified at anything as him? He's never done anything. He found a niche in the radio world, in the TV world, and he found a niche of people that he could lead. I mean, you know, remember that people are easily led, you know.
Well, he criticizes Obama, which is fair, for reading off a teleprompter, but he admits he uses a teleprompter.
Everybody does. The teleprompter is a marvelous thing. I think the only jealousy comes in the fact that George Bush couldn't read one.
All right.
You know, all the rest of us can.
All right, we're running out of time, and this interview is really getting powerful here, but I want to get back into the episodes. Let's talk about the water episode, because I was asking during the break, I said, what do you think's the most scary? And you said water, and I tend to agree with you because these multinationals, well, I mean, tell folks what you discovered.
Let me just say this. I go out with a Native American chief, and we go to Lake Mead by Hoover Dam, you know, the water source for Las Vegas. Let me finish with this. I got news for you, people. Within the decade, Las Vegas is going to have no water. Lake Mead is down 125 feet. Let me repeat that. 125 feet down. I stood on a plateau there 60 feet below the ledge where docks were still up there where less than a decade ago kids were fishing off them. The water was now 60 feet below where I was standing at. And the water show that we do, if it does not terrify the people of this country, then nothing will.
And, of course, you interviewed me for that. You came to Austin to investigate it. But how much more of the investigation can you talk about? I mean, clearly you show how these...
I think that's enough, Alex, just to say it leads us to the northern peninsula of Michigan and the Great Lakes, which is home to 20% of the world's fresh drinking water.
And who gets to have the water? We don't get to have it, but somebody else does.
Well, watch It all will be very clear on the show.
What can you say about the police state camps show?
Well, that I will say this, it again reaffirms, you all remember when Michael Moore spoke to Congressman Conyers, and he set Michael Moore down and said, let me tell you something, we don't even read the bills we vote on?
Yes.
You will be reassured of that again, because I sit down with a congressman who assures me up and down that there are no FEMA internment camps being built in the country. And when you should see how funny it is on camera when we then show him the bill he was co-sponsor of Homeland Security, which states that they would be building no less than 6 of them.
And that's on top of the other camps they've got under some...
But he didn't even know it was in the bill. That's the point. These people are not reading what they vote on. They're being told by their political parties how to vote.
Let's get into another episode. What can you say about the oil spill? I mean, this is really powerful.
Well, again, the oil spill, we investigate conspiracies, and to be blunt and straightforward, there's a strong suspicion and a lot of circumstantial evidence that oil spill was done intentionally.
And, you know, we talked to some homeless people down there who were actually clean cut, who came down to get jobs, and they said they wouldn't hire us for the cleanup. And you said exactly what I was thinking. You said, hey, buddy, be glad you didn't get that job.
Exactly, because, you know, the stuff they're using down there, this dispersant, it has 4 lethal chemicals in it, including, I think, cadmium and arsenic and 2 other lovely things. And I'm, for the life of me, trying to figure out how adding billions of barrels of lethal chemicals to already saturated oil water is a good thing. I can't figure that out now. I am not a scientist, but it doesn't make sense to me that by adding poison to the water is going to be beneficial more so than just the oil in the water. Now you got 2 of them in there.
Well, it was great that when I was out in New Orleans and Georgia with Ventura, he said even if he doesn't do radio promotion for the new TV show, which he may do, he's not sure that he would do this show first. We appreciate him being on with us, and we'll have him again exclusively in the next 2 weeks joining us again. And then as soon as the show starts airing, he can talk more about behind-the-scenes stuff or things that got cut out, because in a 45-minute show, you got 15 minutes of ads, you know, the hours and hours of incredible things that, you know, we shoot and see. It can't all end up in the television show. And I had a big role in the investigation and consulting and in, 3 of the episodes last year. I think I'm in 5 or 6 this year. And, you know, usually the national television calls me. I mean, literally, my producers have seen it. I refuse to be flown here or there to go on shows because I know it's going to be 5 minutes and they're going to edit what I say. But I do like being part of Governor Jesse Ventura's show, and I've really gotten to know him in the last 5 years, and he's just a wonderful person. I disagree with some of his political views and ideas, but he's a real person, and he really does care, and he's very interesting. Okay, we've got all this amazing news, and David Icke is scheduled to join us in about 30 minutes, another big informative guest. In fact, Jaron, 2 weeks ago I had that big folder on the Air Force people saying that aliens were real, and on Churchill saying they were real, and Eisenhower saying they were real, all that declassified. I don't get into aliens in my 15 years on air. But when it's all over mainstream news that aliens are real and they're about to land and the UN has assigned an ambassador for when the aliens land, that's the one area David Icke gets into that I've been like, I'm not getting into it. People criticize him, but now it's just everywhere. It's just everywhere, and I think it's a government hoax. I think they're going to have fake alien landings, I don't think I know. They have Project Bluebeam and Iron Mountain and others, and it's admitted they've thought about fake second coming of Christ, Buddha, Allah. You can pull that stuff up, Time Magazine, where they have giant hologram projectors where they can have a 3,000-foot tall Jesus or a goblin or whatever they want it to be, a wizard, a pig, a turkey. Jack in the Box. So they've got all these systems. I want to bring that up to Icke as well, but also the economy, the police state, a bunch of other news that we're going to be discussing with him. We are back live. Want to put a quick plug in. for several great radio stations. The big one, KSCO.com. They wrangled me into doing a speaking engagement. I'm also out in California doing a secret investigation. But I'll be speaking October 24th, a one-time event starting at 6 p.m. at the Coconut Grove Ballroom. And tickets are going fast. One place to get them, KSCO.com. Some folks don't have internet, though. Maybe I should get the KSCO number and give that out in the next few days. You can also ask any questions or have suggestions at Alex at KSCO.com. I'll be speaking for 2 hours and taking a question and answer. And I'm tempted to try to get Dr. Stan Monteith to come down and give a 30-minute talk as well. He lives there and is a great guy and kind of woke up the station owner decades ago, back when the station owner was in high school, and Dr. Stan Monteith came and spoke to his high school about the coming world government. But great folks out there, MZ putting it on, KSCO.com to get tickets. There's links up on the GCNlive.com website, or you can just go to KSCO.com. Huge banner at the top. That's October 24th, coming up in about 19 days. I will be there on that Sunday evening speaking in Santa Cruz, California. It's a nice place, the Coconut Grove Ballroom there where I'm going to be speaking, KSCO.com. And I've rarely had events that don't sell out. I've had events with 1,400, 1,200, 1,000, 900, 800, 500, 600. And with almost no promotion. And then we're on two stations that MZ owns out there, KSCO being the big one. Again, KSCO.com to get tickets or questions. Alex at KSCO.com, Sunday, October 24th.